Have you ever noticed what seems massive in your life seems simple to somebody else? I was doing some work with a group of therapists, and I wasn't giving them therapy. I was giving them some uh, coaching cues or coaching answers to help them. And I realized this, it wasn't that they weren't smart, they were very smart. Degrees, knowledge, years of experience. It wasn't that they didn't have information. They were loaded with information. It wasn't even that they didn't have a desire to do this new thing they were doing. They had all of that stuff. So you may think, if they had all of that stuff, what really was the problem? The problem really is you can't see clearly what's inside of you, or you can't see clearly what you're inside of. And usually, when you're inside of your body, when you're inside of the problem, you don't realize how small something really is because it's massive to you because emotions have come into the play. So, case in point, uh, this group, uh, smart, has the desire, has the hunger, has the knowledge. We're getting caught up in when it comes to not using social media as a therapist, but getting caught up on even making a video itself. You started to see the fear of being seen, fear of being rejected. Do I look good enough? You start seeing all these things come up. But what it really boiled down to was they needed somebody who wasn't attached to their situation. They needed somebody who wasn't emotionally attached to them. So I asked them this question. I said, "Hey, can you help people?" And they said, "Yeah, of course." Do you love helping people? Yes. If you had a solution to someone's problem and they were in front of you, would you give it to them? And they said, "Of course, that would be absurd not to." I said, "What if the video is really about giving somebody the access to a solution or inviting them into a solution?" And they stopped. All of a sudden, what seemed like they needed to have a professional camera, a professional mic, perfect lighting, all of those things started to just vanish. And one person said, "I think I can do the video. I think I'm overthinking this." Now, three things usually happen when people are in their own problem. And this is why I always say coaches need coaches or a consultant or somebody who's not emotionally attached to their problems. Three things happen. I'm going to read it. The first one is identity blind spots. You see yourself as somebody different. So when we brought up the video thing, we were talking about marketing. They didn't see themselves as a marketer, or they didn't see themselves as somebody who should be on video. Not because of like HIPAA or anything like that. They just had sometimes a poor self-image of themselves. They thought they were unattractive. They thought they were not good on video. That's what they thought about themselves. It was their truth, but it wasn't necessarily the truth. The second one was emotional proximity. They were so close to their problem that it became bigger than what it is. Emotions tend to magnify things. We usually see this when a kid gets mad or something like that. They're mad about you not slicing the pizza right, but then it has turned into a big uproar because now they're mad, they're crying, all the emotions are in there. Emotions tend to magnify things. And the third one is overcomplicating things. Here's something that they had started to do, and we were just walking them through this. Hey, let's shoot a video on your phone up to 1 minute. I just want you to talk about something that's on your heart and what you do. And the overcomplication started to coming. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I go past a minute? What if nobody looks at the video? What if I start stuttering? What if I those things usually are somebody not making excuses. They're overcomplicating the process. So the next thing I said was, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a 2 minute cap, and whatever comes out, but you gotta stop at 2 minutes." Here's the second part. We're gonna do this now. I'm just minimizing the step, making it so simple that they can make the step because it's not that I'm smarter than them. I'm just not in the I'm just not emotionally attached to their problem. And most of the times, you need help from somebody who's not emotionally attached to the problem because you don't have a biased opinion. Now you have someone saying, hey, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Similar to what I do with fitness, when people may say, hey, I can't get more than 5,000 steps a day. The question is, hey, let's just talk. Can you march in place for 20 seconds? Yeah, that's easy. Could you do that 5 times a day? Absolutely. You're just really just showing them, hey, you're magnifying your problem when the problem isn't really that. It's something way simpler. With all of this, when I work with people, my number one goal is to make the next step so simple, small, and clear. Simple, small, and clear. And if I get you to make enough steps that's simple, small, and clear, those steps will grow into bigger, not bigger steps, but those steps will grow into lots of growth. I believe strongly in consistency before intensity. And I believe stronger in consistency versus every now and then. I'd rather teach you how to keep hitting to get to a base than only teach you to hit a home run because the consistency builds the muscle, it builds the confidence. It also signals to your nervous system, we've done this before. We can do it again. This is not too hard to try. We can do it again. So whether you be a therapist or a ministry leader, a parent, who can help you just see a different perspective on your problem? And don't become defensive when they show you it's not really the problem. You just didn't call that person. Or you might be creating a story that's not the real thing. It might just be a story in your head. Be good, be great.